3.
And the other one, it's more of a prospective heat of the night because I don't want to judge the storyline until it's completed. And I don't know if this was the closing of the circle tonight, but I'm kind of disappointed the direction they went with the love her or leave her matchup. There was some middling stuff, throughout the show. Really didn't care about Roderick Strong versus Bobby Fish. Honestly, I cared far more about what we'll probably be getting a takeover, Kushida versus Roddy, because Kushida did accept Roddy's challenge. QAnon Cross, just get the fuck off my screen. Really, I'm just going to put it to you this way, guys. The things I really liked on this show, Ridge Holland continues to impress. I think this whole trio with him, Dunn, and Lorcan is good shit. And man, fucking Birch is going to feel so out of the loop when he comes back. Because it feels like a closed loop already. Like a new thing's been formed. He's not in it, and it's good. Right? That's just kind of my feeling on that. Cameron Grimes continues to really bring the life to his storyline, so I'm going to give that a pass. And the highlight of the fucking show to me, even more than the breakout tournament, I was a bit surprised by that result, and I really don't know how I feel about it yet. Maybe I will by the time we get to that matchup. But the highlight of the fucking show to me, surprisingly, wasn't even Hit Row versus LDF, which we'll talk about imminently. It was fucking Dakota Kai's promo. She killed it tonight. Some of the best work I think she's done in NXT, and I'll go as far as say if it wasn't for Cole and his promo on Cross, would have been the best promo I've heard in NXT in a minute. So it's kind of an extended intro for me, just because I really just did not like this episode tonight. There were a few really good things in there, but I was mad for most of it, and then the stuff that was bad, just fuck all the way off. But let's see if my court and commentary has a different view. Ashton, what do you think about tonight's episode?
Oh, I believe me, my friend. I completely agree with you. I am 100% on the same page as you. I was not a fan of this episode of NXT at all. I wouldn't necessarily say that I hated it, because there were some things about it that I did like. I just feel like I was waiting for something cool to happen, and it never did until the very, very, very end. The last literally like 30 seconds was like the best part of the whole show, I think.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fun review because traditionally I feel like our more disappointed reviews, I'll say, go a bit longer, and that may be the case here because I do have some things I want to say.
True.
But let's see. Let's see how quickly we get through this. Let's start with our first segment, Heat of the Night. And brother, I'm going to level with you. I have not had the best day today. Would you please let me go first so I can work through some of my shit here?
Absolutely, go for it. Go for it.
I fucking hated the Zoe Stark Io Shirai segment tonight.
Same.
Honestly, I know we have year-end awards, stuff like that, and I'm serious, guys. Look, I know I'm a character. I know at times I could be over the top and even outright obnoxious. I'm self-aware. I'm working on it. But, like, I am being sincere with you guys when I say this is one of the worst segments I've seen in NXT, maybe even ever. And again, that part may be a bit hyperbole, but I viscerally rejected all of this. So, to get the markier stuff out of the way first, before I get to the real substance of why I hated this, Zoe Stark, don't you ever think that you can compare to Kyrie. Ever. In this timeline or any other, I'm just going to let you know now, as gently as I can, that is never, ever going to happen. Period. That's it. I could drag it on, but I won't. Now here's what I really had a fucking problem with. Why? Dude, this, and again, I have not had a great day today. So if I seem a bit angrier, it's nobody's fault. I love all of you. You're all precious to me. But this just smacked of, oh my God. You know, guys, I'm going to get a little theory nerd on you. I never thought I'd do this on a TWitWoW, but we're going to do it. Okay? So there is this work by this Palestinian literary critic / theorist named Edward Said. May he rest in peace. I think he died in 2005 from, pancreatic cancer. Yeah. And his seminal work was called Orientalism. And it's how you take a certain region, in his case, the Middle East, because he was exiled from Palestine, Israeli occupation, all that stuff. And he talks about how in the West, in what we would call the divide between the Occident, which is us, and the Orient, which is, Asia, Middle East, all that stuff, there is kind of a caricature, to put it very simplistically, of the Middle East. They wear turbans, they ride camels, so like that crude reductive image, right? That removes all agency, all difference, all that stuff. You may even see, if you guys have ever seen any films about the Middle East, have you ever noticed how they use a filter where it looks all yellow in the background because it's always a sandstorm going on or something?
Oh, yeah.
That's Orientalism.
Dude, you don't even have to look far. Literally, fucking Transformers movies do that for sure.
Yeah, a YouTuber that I watch, it's left-wing, named Hakeem. He did a great video about how Aladdin is a textbook case of like cinematic Orientalism. So the thing about the Orient, you have these Westerners go there, whether they're novelists, they're scientists, and they gather all this data, whether it's empirical or, if you're, I guess it's a different kind of empirical data if you're a novelist, because you're experiencing the land and everything else. But rather than talking to the people, rather than, not being a colonizing subject, you kind of make these reductive assumptions that altogether make the Orient. Right? Now, why do I say all this? Why are we doing Theory Time with John, which nobody would subscribe to? I'm self-aware. Because this just smacked of a kind of Orientalism to me. When Zoe Stark makes the face looking at the Japanese food, to me, dude, and maybe, again, I'm being too much of a theory nerd about it, it's like, wow, this is what these people eat? And I feel like Zoe, in her mind, was making assumptions about Io's entire culture and her identity as a Japanese woman. And this is reinforced, too, when she talks to the fucking waitress at the end of the segment. Oh, so do you and Kyrie know each other? Again, kind of this reductiveness, right? You and Io. Sorry, I've still got Kyrie on the brain a little bit. But you see this reductiveness of like, oh, they all have to know each other or something, right? It's implicit to me. And then it's like, no, we just speak the same language. Oh, so you're from Japan. And then, no, okay. And I know it's played for laughs, but really at a time where we see like Asian hate rising because of COVID, racialism really like at an all-time high with right-wing factions making race out of everything. I mean, Tucker Carlson is a #1 rated cable news show, in big part demonizing fucking immigrants. In fact, he even got into it with Geraldo Rivera. I saw a clip today because he's like, oh, these COVID mandates and everything, and we're to blame for our immigration problem because we open the borders and we give the best welfare benefits in the world. He said that, right? And so when I see Zoe Stark making jokes, putting the food in the napkin, lying to Io, being all confused, it's just like, really? It's 2021. Like, I feel like you could do a story of more depth. The story should really honestly be about Io and how she has her walls up and not this fucking white woman tryhard trying to be friends with Io, right? And then experiencing, at least what she's conveying to us, right, is this culture shock, which it really shouldn't even be. You just need to settle the fuck down. And again, I'm simplifying it here because obviously she should be doing something else. That's a gross simplification. But like, yeah, it ain't that deep. She's a human being. Talk to her like a human being. To me, I'll just say what I said in the Discord. It smacked of cultural insensitivity to me. It is one of my most hated NXT segments of all time. I fucking hated everything about it. Everything about it. I think you hated this too. So is there anything you want to add from your perspective?
Well, the thing is, I agree with most of what you just said to some degree or another. But for me, I just don't like it because I just don't think that Zoe Stark can pull this shit off. She just doesn't have the charisma. Like, she seriously gives off, like, borderline fucking Midwest soccer mom energy. You know what I mean?
Dude, absolutely. And, like, Paul even said you didn't even know what wasabi was. Now, to me, that's try hard. I don't know. Because maybe it's because I actually like sushi and I've eaten it enough. But, like, yeah. And
Dude, I've never eaten Japanese cuisine in my fucking life, and I'd recognize wasabi if I saw it.
Yeah. And I think Javaris makes a great point, too, with, like, and this is something else I've thought about. Also, Zoe, Io doesn't have to like you to be a good tag team. So that's another thing I don't like, even beyond the cultural contexts here. I don't like that it's almost like Zoe is trying to force this to happen, which could very well mean they'll lose the titles even faster. Like, Io's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And really, you're not even bad either in the ring. Let her do like 80% of the work. You get the other 20. You could probably have a long title reign. For you trying to make this about more than just being two people that hold a title that allow you or that necessitates you guys working together, it's a bit much, and it's grating to me. So, yeah, I really just had to go first to say, in more of an extended heat of the night on my side, I fucking hated this. I really, really viscerally rejected this. So what about you, man? Are you packing any heats of the night tonight?
Well, just to kind of piggyback off of, continuing the discussion of the Zoe Stark Io stuff, at the very least, Io got herself a free meal.
Yeah, that is true. That's the best thing to happen on all this is that Io got to eat for free.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She still doesn't like Zoe, but, maybe Zoe keeps buying her food for her, and maybe she'll start to like her a little bit more.
Exactly. There you go.
I guess it's time for me to talk now, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's your turn, bud. You let me go first, so now I want to hear what heats of the night are you packing?
Oh, God. Well, let's see. I'm trying to actually. Really
I was like, let me reach into my sack here.
No, because the problem with this show wasn't that I viscerally hated a lot of segments. It's more that it was just kind of blah and boring. Okay, I have 2 heats of the night right now, just on the top of my mind. I'll go with the easier one, I think, and that is, why the fuck did Dexter have to lose to Gargano if Indy was just going to go back to him anyway?
Yeah, this is my prospective heat of the night, but before I piggyback on you, I think it's fair that you just go first and go deeper into that.
I mean, it doesn't really need to go any deeper. If you already planned on letting Indy stay with Dexter and give it a shot, why couldn't Dexter just fucking win? Do you really need to protect Johnny Gargano that desperately when Dexter was already come off of like a 2 or 3 match losing streak going into this? It makes no sense. I don't get it. Like, Dexter should literally be a North American Championship title contender. And really, realistically, he should have been that a year ago. He should be looking to be in the world title contention by now. But they've dragged their feet on him for so damn long that I'm just looking for him to get a win, and they couldn't even throw me that bone.
Okay, so I'm going to piggyback off of what you said and then add my own kind of 2 cents since we share this one. Is that okay?
Sure.
We good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man, absolutely. You know I'm not going to make you not contribute.
I just always want to make sure that you say your piece because I know I could go on for a bit. So
my piece has been
it perplexes me that Dexter looks like he does and he can't win the big matches. I think you're 1,000% right on that. That's what I wanted to say right from Jump Street. Is I think your assessment of the situation I'm in complete agreement with because Dexter is such a presence and really such a character. Like it's so funny to me that Dexter is a character that I would actually like to see get in the ring with Karrion Kross's character. And yet he can't even beat Johnny Gargano. Not to diss Johnny by any means, but again, look at Loomis, right? It'd be very easy to write him to beat a guy like Gargano.
Yep.
And yeah, he never wins the big matches. And also, I was kind of thinking, I didn't say this in the Discord, though I meant to, but I kind of wanted to save it for the show to ask you. Do you remember when this whole storyline started from the very beginning, and we just thought Loomis was going to be like, I don't know, hypnotizing or whatever, both Indy and fucking Theory to take Johnny's North America Championship because he was North America champion when this whole thing really started?
The whole thing started with him basically kidnapping Theory and putting him in a trunk, and then Theory was like, oh, he's actually not that bad of a guy. He's just misunderstood.
Exactly. And
then we got the whole therapy segment, I remember.
Yes. And we thought it was going to go one way. Dexter still hasn't won a championship in NXT, which I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it is a fucking crock. Where the prospective heat of the night for me comes from is I don't know how this is going to progress, but I really thought they missed a great opportunity here because Theory now hasn't been on for 2 weeks. So kayfabe at least, although who even knows what's going on behind the scenes anymore, we can say that Theory isn't with the way. Oh my
God, I'm connecting the dots and you're right. Holy shit.
And I think you can almost see where I'm going with this. How I would have done the match is that I would have had, obviously, Loomis win with that sleeper that he does. Johnny's recovering in the corner. What the hell happened? He sees the kiss, and his eyes bug out of his skull like, oh, God, Loomis is in the family now. Shit. And you know what? Because Johnny's so entertaining, I would want them to actually gel with each other after a bit. Maybe even a month tops if you really want to go long for them. But I would have them gel after a while. And then Theory comes back, kind of like the Danny Burch of the group, and he's wondering what the hell happened. Like, I feel like they missed an opportunity here with Theory out. Like, you need
Who's
a male
worse, Danny
backup for
Burch or
Johnny.
Austin Theory?
I'm honestly going to say Danny Burch, but it's close.
Yeah,
It's
I think I
close.
agree with you, actually.
God damn.
Huh.
But, like, you know, to me, and again, I can't go hard on them because I didn't get what I wanted, because I don't know the story that they're telling completely yet. But I just feel like they missed an opportunity to get Loomis in the way with the vacuum left by Theory and just have it really be that dysfunctional family in a comedic
See, this is
way.
not where I thought you were going at all. I'm just going to say that right now. I thought you
Where
were going
did
to
you think
suggest.
I was going?
I thought you were going to suggest that Austin come out and screw Gargano over to help Indy get to be with Dexter, because Theory has finally seen through the Gargano bullshit, and he's remembering back to when he actually got to know Dexter and found out that he's actually not that bad of a guy. He's just misunderstood. So I thought Theory was going to come out and help Dexter win, and that we would get like a return to Indy and Theory just hanging out with Dexter in general. They didn't have to become a faction or anything, just being friends.
I will say, shout out to Foster. Every time somebody in WWE says the line, Loomis isn't a bad guy, he's just misunderstood, you owe that man a damn royalty check. And he's coming to collect him in that beautiful face. Yeah. So I just wanted to say it here to know that he's got representation from TWitWoW, and fuck y'all, we're coming for his money.
Hell yeah.
But no, I can see why you'd say that, man, because if I'm Theory as a character, remember, 2 weeks ago he walked out because they had a whole backstage thing and they were all arguing about Loomis. So in Theory's mind, he's like, I can't deal with this. And so I would even I agree with your tactics, but not necessarily the sentiment, because I feel like the sentiment in those tactics would be, look, you guys have got to get over this Loomis thing. She loves him. We're a family. We can make it work. Not, I've seen through Johnny's bullshit, but this is my way of saving the family, which of course Johnny and Candice are going to, viscerally disagree with, and they're going to think Austin's a doofus. But he's thinking like, look, you guys have been arguing about Dexter this whole time. We've lost our way, and this is how we get it back. There it is. And this is how we get it back. So I think you and I agree with the tactics. I definitely see where you're coming from, but I think the sentiment is where we differ, because you're thinking like it's an awakening for Theory almost, like, oh, now I can see all of Johnny's bullshit. And for me, it's like he sees the dysfunction of his family from without, and he's like, I've got it. We just need to embrace Loomis. And yeah, it'd just be a large dysfunctional family.
See, I don't really see it as like, oh, let's get Loomis in on this. I see it more as let's, kind of separate the children from their parents and let Loomis be the new foster dad or someone else. Obviously that's poorly worded when he and Index are going to be together, but he and Indy, I should say, are going to be together. But like, you get the idea.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, man. I can appreciate where you're coming from.
I like that you emphasize trying there, because I'm clearly not actually verbalizing it very well.
It's okay, man. Hey, I think sometimes you and we see things on this show and we want to articulate what we want, and sometimes that's hard. Like for me, I thought that this would have been a great way to get Loomis in on the faction with the vacuum left by Theory. Yeah. You saw it a bit of a different way, and I think we're both agreeable. It perplexes me, and really go back to the thing you said at first, which again I emphatically agree with. It really befuddles me how Loomis can come with everything he comes with, the look, just the character, hell, even the artistry. Like, the funny thing is, this dude doesn't talk, but I feel like he could do a promo merely through like a sketchbook, and I'm dead serious. Like, he's actually legitimately good enough at illustrations that I'm like, well, maybe he could cut promos if he had like a sketch pad or something. He does one of those like flip book things. That'd be fucking amazing. So like, this dude has everything, and he just can't win the big match. It just really, really astounds me. But yeah, that was the only other big thing I was coming with. Did you have anything else that you wanted to kind of put on the table for this first segment?
Oh, I definitely did have one of the heat of the night. Let me see if I can remember it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pull up a recap of NXT, because I don't have notes for tonight, and see if I can remember it that way. Well, a really easy nitpick is how goddamn long Fish Strong went, but at least we got the right winner there.
Yes.
What was my other problem with the show? We already mentioned Cross. We already mentioned Zoe and Io. I know I had another problem with the show. I was so angry about it.
Maybe I came in looking for the live
I remember. The problem isn't even actually with something that was like a segment on the show. It was an announcement that happened on the show, and that's that we're getting Walter versus Ilya Dragunov on the next takeover. I hate it.
Oh yeah, that's been established for a while, but yeah, I remember you even saying in the Discord like that you feel like right now at least that Dragunov's winning, and you just do not like that. I think you even
The
said
thing
not to
is, John,
misquote.
while you
Yeah,
are correct that I do think that there's a very, very good chance that Dragunov wins there, that is not the reason that I hate this match. I hate this match because it's a small, tiny man going up against Walter, and it's going to go 30 plus fucking minutes.
yeah. Now it's funny for me because as you know, I did enjoy the first match, save for like the last maybe 10 minutes if I'm kind of under selling it there, just because again it devolved into that ROH bullshit that that I hate.
Yup,
But
and this one's going to as well.
and probably, and so I'm curious what they'll do. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hyped. I've been very hyped in the Discord, which if you guys haven't joined it, $3 a month, check out the Patreon. And I've expressed my hype in the Discord, but I can, especially after seeing Kobashi Suzuki and talking about the state of wrestling in that way today, I can understand why that would rub you the long way, because this guy's been champion, I think, for over 2 years, right, Walter?
Dude, he's in
And
the
so
800 plus day range already. Yeah.
yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. Like, again, in this era, to me, that's more impressive than any of Bruno's title reigns back in his day. Because, like, you're competing a lot
He had
more.
the
You're
pencil,
on the road a
baby. He
little.
had the pencil.
Exactly. Like, I think what Walter's done, he is the San Martino times 100 to me of his era. It's really unbelievable. And that's the highest compliment I could give somebody. But I don't know. It comes to a point where, how can I put this? I think it just comes to a point where when you're champion for that long, it's kind of like how I'm starting to feel about Shooting now. And I don't even think she's had nearly the time with the SWA title that Walter has had with his, obviously. But it's like when you're so dominant, who the hell can even beat you? Because I understood, like, I think, didn't Javaris say, like, Rampage Brown or something? Some name got mentioned. I don't know if that was the one. I wanna look up a little bit. Yeah, he did say the only person that convincingly could have beaten Walter legit was Rampage Brown. And like even then, I get why Javaris says that, but even with bigger dudes that can like stand up to Walter, literally and figuratively, it's like yeah, but
Yeah.
he's Walter though.
To me, you shouldn't. Walter shouldn't lose that title legitimately. He's got to lose the title, but he should never actually lose a match like clean to lose that title. If he's going to lose the title, it should be to a cheating heel. It's that simple. Like you don't need to consider yourself booked in a corner when you have an unstoppable champion. You literally just bring in a fucking heel that cheats and let them cheat to win. It's not hard.
Because you feel like Walter is so compelling as a character, it'd be very easy to turn him face in the first place.
Well, no, I mean
Despite,
the thing is, I think Walter isn't a face or a heel. I think Walter is a fucking monster, like the way that they book Brock almost. Like, we've seen people cheat to be. Hell, Seth Rollins kicked Brock Lesnar in the balls to beat him at WrestleMania a couple years ago. There's no reason that that kind of situation couldn't happen with Walter. Obviously, I'm not asking for a fucking step-by-step repeat or anything, but at the end of the day, Walter is fucking huge, and it's not just that he's big, he's actually really good too. Like if he was just big and we had like like a fucking Giant Gonzalez situation on our hands, then yeah, obviously I would want really technically sound wrestlers to be able to kind of chop him down and be able to beat him, or like a Kali situation. But he's not that at all. He's huge and he's goddamn amazing and he's technically very sound, like to the point that we've seen him grapple with ZSJ and not get one upped. And like there's literally no reason for me to believe that someone who might be very good at what they do but gives up fucking 6 inches and 100 pounds to Walter is going to be able to beat him or even take him 30 plus minutes. That's the ridiculous part to me. To me, if you are going to beat Walter, it either needs to be fluky or you need to cheat to do it, especially at that size. And if it's going to be fluky or if you're going to cheat to do it, it shouldn't take 30 plus minutes to get there. It should be 22, maybe at the very most, more like 16, 17 minutes. Like my biggest gripe here isn't even, oh, it's unbelievable to see these two in a match. My problem is the length of the matches that they have. My problem is that Walter will defend his title against guys like Dunn and Bate and fucking even Seven is a bigger guy, but even him still. And who else has he defended against, John? I mean, help me out here. I mean, he's already had a defense against Dragunov that went 35 minutes, right?
Yeah, because this will be a rematch now between him and Dragunov.
Yeah. So my problem isn't necessarily, oh, I don't want Walter defending the title against these smaller guys. It's not that. My problem is I don't want these smaller guys taking Walter 30 plus fucking minutes to beat. Walter should be able to beat these dudes definitively under 20 minutes easily.
All right. Yeah, I can appreciate what you're saying. Again, especially in light of watching like Kobashi Suzuki. I think we need to start re-examining the concept of suspension of disbelief. Not even just looking at spots and stuff, but just the very competitors themselves. I'll tell you, the problem that you're having with Walter's title reign, that's the problem looking back that I had with a lot of Ray's matches when he was world champion in 2006.
Yep.
Like, I feel like they actually got his booking right in later years, but 2006 was awful when he was in matches with fucking Great Khali or Mark Henry. Now, granted, he would lose some of those matches, but then in other ways, like, he'd find fluky ways to win. Like, I distinctly remember him beating Khali once, I think, by countout. And I'm just like, it's still kind of a hard sell for me. So I think I can sympathize with what you're saying, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on here?
I'm just not a fan of. The thing is, I shouldn't even just say smaller guys beating bigger guys because that's not the case at all. Like I'm fine with smaller guys beating bigger guys in certain contexts, but there's more nuance to it than that. It's not just, oh, if you're smaller than say 5'11", you shouldn't ever be able to beat someone that's taller than like 6'3" and weighs more than like 250 or something like that. Like it's not that at
Right.
all. It is literally Walter isn't just big. Like that's I need to emphasize that. Walter isn't just like they say a good big man will beat a good little man on any day of the week. Walter's a great big man. So even if you pit a great smaller guy up against him, I'm going to have a hard time believing the smaller guy winning at all. And now you're telling me that not only is he going to potentially win, even if he doesn't win, but he's going to take Walter to the limit for 30 plus minutes? That's the part I have a problem with. The length of time that it takes for Walter to put these little dudes away is the problem I have. If you put Walter against someone like Ciampa, I think Ciampa would be a believable contender for Walter's title. I don't like Ciampa. I don't want to see him challenge anyone for any singles titles. If it was up to me, he could fuck off and go to AEW for all I care. But if we're talking about guys that would look like a credible contender to Walter, Ciampa's only like 5'11", and I would believe him beating Walter. Who else? Kyle O'Reilly isn't a big dude by any means. I could buy him beating Walter. Who else? I mean, we've already talked about ZSJ. He's skinny as shit. I could buy him beating Walter. So it's not just big man versus little man bad, or big man needs to beat little man every time. It's nuance. There's more nuance to it than just that.
Right. All right.
And we've already seen Walter's title defenses, and unfortunately, they follow a pretty routine formula that actually sees Walter getting his ass kind of handed to him for about half of the first, 80% of the match. And then the last 20% of the match is finisher fest, ROH, false finish spam. And then the finish is a fucking splash or a fucking power bomb or a fucking roll up and lame shit like that. Like it's got ROH written all over it, and I hate it. I just hate that style of wrestling.
Yeah. I think that's why, for the most part, I like the first Walter Dragunov matchup, because it really did feel like a fight for the most part. And then the final few minutes, like, Dragunov kicked out of the splash, which obviously I kind of rolled my eyes at, because Walter's, again, a very big and agile dude, and crashing all that weight on Dragunov, it's like, okay, yeah, as if you wouldn't be heaving the whole time. Maybe I'm projecting. And then the choke, when he, choked Dragunov out, and Dragunov's got the bloody mouth, and he kind of passes out. Great visual. Like, I think even thinking back, it's been a while since I've watched the match, but just mentally going through it, probably would have given an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. So I think these two have a good formula, because it really felt to me, at least the first one, more like a brawl that was pretty even-handed all the way through, with some big spots on both sides.
Right.
We'll have to see what they do at TakeOver, but I can be sympathetic to what you're saying. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to address here?
I think I just have this mindset of, like, if it could never happen in a real fight, you can stretch a little bit to allow for it to happen in wrestling, especially because, again, in wrestling, you've got a little bit of kind of creative freedom there. You can cheat, you can, get like fluky roll-up pins. I'm fine with that. That's cool. But if we're talking like no one's cheating, it's a clean, fair fight. If you put a guy, literally just stand two guys next to each other, or two women, I don't care, or a woman and a man, hell, I really don't care. And if it looks like one of them would literally just be able to lie on top of the other one and prevent them from kicking out, then they should probably fucking win most of the time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to address.
I love what Paul said in the chat. Skill might beat size some of the time, but equal skill and size, it's all over for the little guy.
Yeah. No, I don't think I want to say that, because again, the only other thing I kind of had mixed feelings about was the breakout tournament. But I think even looking at that, I can maybe see where they're going. So we'll kind of talk about that when we actually get to the segment. So let's get to.
I just want to address Shad Thompson now in chat. He said Daniel Bryan would never be the top guy with that mentality. Problem here is that Daniel Bryan was on another fucking level from a skill perspective, and the dudes that he beat for the world title, and really specifically the dude singular in Batista that he beat for the world title, I don't think anyone would have ever said that Batista was one of the most skilled wrestlers. I think Batista was relatively infamous for being kind of a shit wrestler who was really good at pro wrestling because of his look and his presence.
Yeah, that's agreeable to me. Yeah.
So, like, being a significantly better technical wrestler than someone, I don't really mind a smaller, infinitely more skilled guy beating a bigger, less skilled guy. We even talked about that earlier with the Kali and the Giant Gonzalez thing. Like, yeah, those guys are huge, but they also suck. So sure, yeah, they should eat pins. Walter doesn't suck. That's my problem, you know?
Exactly. Because yeah, especially in the latter half of this discussion, you really emphasized the skill and the time it takes relative to like Walter's skill to beat guys that have the size disadvantage, and at times the skill disadvantage, and other times even with the skill being equal. Like, it's just, I don't know. Walter, I think, looks like insurmountable at times, or he should look insurmountable.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to the big title matches, it's weird because they almost do like kind of a Ric Flair-esque booking with him, where he does look vulnerable for some parts of the match. And again, that's why I like the Dragunov matchup, at least the first one, because it did seem to break that mold. But yeah, anyway, I think we've said enough about this topic. Yeah. So let's get into our NXT review. And yeah, we open with Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma. You know, Raul Mendoza. I was going to say Raquel. We'll get to her later. Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. Not really much to say here. I'm really just looking forward to Swerve versus Santos for the North American Championship, and presumably that is going to happen in TakeOver 36. But man, this podcast, man, when we have Hit Row segments, it's really just got to become the top dollar variety hour, because like, god damn, this dude is so good. I keep saying it every time he's on screen. The dude, you talked about presence with Batista, you used that word. Top dollar emanates that shit off every goddamn pore. He's amazing. He did a double drop kick to LDF when the match got thrown out because Santos used a chair, and there was a big skirmish. Another thing, too, that I like about Hit Row, I love that BFAB got in on this, and she used a chair, I think, to hit Wild. I think it was Wild that she hit. It's good to know that she's not going to be another woman in a faction that just kind of stands helplessly at ringside. You know, and it's like, oh, no, what's happening to my friends? No, she got her hands dirty. I love that. I fucking love that shit.
It's not a faction, but I have a problem with the fact that Scarlett is in that role. I wish Scarlett would be more involved. I want her to be a wrestler, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why we liked Zelina as well when she was running with Andrade. You saw her fucking doing Hurricane Ranas to people.
Oh, yeah.
Sending them into
awesome.
ring posts and shit like that.
I love Zelina as Andrade's manager. That pairing was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really like that from BFAB. Top Dollar, again, really to me, it might be my second favorite member of Hit Row. And honestly, when Swerve's on the sidelines, I got to remember how good he is, because if it keeps going on, Top Dollar will just be my favorite member of Hit Row, period. Because to me, he's got the best bars. He's got the look. Just amazing. I'm really loving watching this dude progress. And yeah, Hit Row is very clearly the faces to me here, and I think we even established that last week. But LDF was really about to fuck Swerve up, because they were going to do the whole chair around the neck spot. And then, Top Dollar came in. Well, yeah, Top Dollar came in, and they all kind of broke it up. And so, yeah, it was good shit. Santos had a great spot, too, earlier, where he, like, ripped I think Swerve's grill out or something, and that looked
Was
really
it? I thought
painful.
it was Ashanti the Adonis's grill, but you might be right.
Was it Ashanti? Because I feel like it was Swerve they had compromised because Ashanti was outside with Top Dollar. That's what
Oh
I thought
yeah, you're
happened.
right then.
Um, and
I was
Paul
actually
makes a good.
finishing my physical therapy exercises at the beginning of the show, so I missed a couple things.
Oh, good, good. I was actually going to ask you after the show if you had done them today, so now I don't need
Indeed.
to. Good
Yep.
job. Yeah. So, oh yeah, that's what I wanted to ask or wanted to say because Paul makes a good point. I've even thought like after this angle, I wonder how Hit Row is gonna be presented. Like, are they still gonna be faces, or are they gonna go back to being a bit more, arrogant, chip on their shoulder
Yeah.
kind of thing, and be in the heels?
Yeah.
Because you can sympathize with Swerve. I mean, we remember what LDF did to him when he was just a singles competitor, robbing him of the cruiserweight title on multiple occasions. And now here, they're not only trying to like mess with him and take the championship now that he's the defending champion. They're trying to do serious bodily harm here. So it's very easy to sympathize with Swerve and Hit Row, at least in my mind it is, in my opinion. But I have to wonder, like, post LDF feud, how Hit Row is going to be presented. But yeah, not a bad match. I think you said underwhelming in the Discord, and I would co-sign on to that word.
I just have
And
such high expectations for both of these teams that anything less than a banger is going to disappoint me, and this is not what I would have called a banger at all.
right. And you know what, dude? To be fair to NXT, at least in this one instance, I think, they would even agree, which is why they never really wanted it to be a full match. It was more of like a narrative point because,
Yeah.
Santos cut it off early with the chair and everything else.
Yep.
So it was more about the story. And yeah, that worked. So good stuff to start NXT. And boy, I wished it lasted. And then we get Joe backstage with Regal.
Oh, just want to
Regal
get my
saying-
shit in here. Top Dollar's double dropkick was goddamn amazing.
Yes. And I would say emphatically that he is goddamn amazing. Fucking love that dude. Who better than Top Dollar? Not Nana. That's fucking right, baby. Samoa Joe and Regal backstage. Regal just tells him, Joe, the security that used to, answer to you when you were working alongside me, now they're going to watch you to make sure that you and Cross don't get physical. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen.
I mean, really, I feel like this was almost like a little bit of like a combination of a ticking time bomb and also like a callback. Joe literally shouting to Regal as a vehicle drives by, "Get better security!"
Yeah.
Joe
Good
was
old
the better
Samoan
security, and now he's not anymore. So Regal's back to the same old shitty security.
I still love that Provoke Me shirt, by the way. That might be one of the best Samoa Joe shirts WWE's produced because it's so simple and direct.
Yup.
But, like,
I would never wear it.
That's
in public,
Joe in a
though.
nutshell. Yeah, oh, God, in this day and age, some smart has to be around the corner. Was there a challenge?
Right? Yeah.
Simmer down. We get Ridge Holland recap, and his in-ring return is announced for next. Then we get the Dexter Lumis kind of vignette of him in his drawing room, looking at all the pictures and looking at the camera. And a nice sense of eeriness and maybe even a little bit of sentimentality, but not in a bad way. I liked how they handled this. Then we get Holland versus Ikemen Jiro. And what did you think about this match, Ashton?
I mean, would you call it a match? I feel like this is pretty much a squash.
Yeah, it was. NXT, if you really want me to tolerate Cross's title reign, and let me just be perfectly clear that is a big ask on your part, and I'm offended.
Yeah.
Lumis is one guy I mentioned character-wise. I'd love to see him play off of a Cross. And Rich Holland's another guy, because to be honest, dude, I had kind of a light bulb moment personally watching Rich Holland versus Jiro. Because Cross's offense is pretty much like 90% suplexes, and then he's got the forearm strike to the back of the head, and then he's got the cross jacket submission. Holland did a lot of suplexes here, and they looked fucking great.
Yeah.
He did, I think, like one exploder suplex, and then a suplex that I saw him do twice was an arm capture suplex, which looked really good. And I'm like, you know what? If you want to do a quick 10-minute hoss fight, because, God, if you really also want to keep Cross interesting, and again, fuck you for even wanting that in the first place, you don't have him go the 20-minute, 30-minute clinics, because he's not a Walter. He's not like one of those guys with the in-ring skill to back that up. It'd be fucking awful. But, for like a 10, 12-minute matchup for the
I
NXT
feel like
Championship.
my
Yeah.
attention span for wrestling is getting so much worse because even the thought of a 20-minute match between those guys makes me feel gross.
Yeah, it's not Stardom, fam. It's not Stardom.
Dude, that's the
Uh,
thing is like with Stardom, 20-minute matches go by so quick they feel like 12-minute matches. We've talked about that before. Like it's actually a huge difference. And now, like in NXT and even in New Japan, I feel like 20-minute matches just fucking trudge, man. I hate it.
End it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
I'm thinking for like a hoss fight, if you wanted to go 8 to 10, 10 to 12, somewhere around there. Holland versus Cross also wouldn't be a bad idea. I liked how Holland looked in there. I honestly, and if I had to nitpick about this, and it is the pickiest of nits again, I already let my anger out on NXT. I don't need to retread that ground. I wish Holland would have talked after the match because I liked how he put Jiro down. You know, he won pretty decisively. But Dunn's the talker. And here's the thing. Dunn, he's not a good promo. But, like, he's not a good promo in the sense, like, he doesn't entertain me, right? I think, like, what he says and how he says it, none of it's really bad. I'm never going to come to you and be like, oh, God, Ashton, Dunn's talking again. Like, that would be Charlotte to me. He's not a Charlotte to me.
See, and that is
He's
how
just,
that is how I feel. I mean, not as extreme as Charlotte, but when Dunn gets the mic, I roll my eyes and I mute the TV. Like I just have no interest.
right. But, I mean, do you agree with me, though, that you would have been more interested if Holland was a talker, at least trying to find his voice, given how unique his voice is?
I mean, dude, given that the alternative was Pete Dunne, absolutely yes.
Yeah, because Lorcan talking, I don't even have a problem with that. If he talks like how he tweets, that could low-key be hilarious. But, like, he doesn't have the same credibility of a Dunn or quickly Holland, because Holland, I think, is going to be getting that credibility very quickly. And that's not even a diss. I love Oni. It's just, you are what you're booked, right? So between those guys, Dunn and Holland, I would have deferred to Holland because I think he needs to find his voice if he hasn't already. And on a literal level, it's such a unique sound. Why don't you put a mic in front of that every chance you get? I'm not saying, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We heard him talk for the first time last week, and he's got a great voice.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and that's kind of what made me
the ball yet again.
What a surprise. Wrestling being a disappointment.
It's so sad to me that we're talking about this talking like this about NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when we used to say this about other promotions and then cite NXT as a good example of how to do it correctly.
Those were the days. I didn't say it old because fuck Edith. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Edith was problematic, but fuck the shit out of Archie Bunker.
Absolutely. Well, she married it, which means in part she probably agreed with it.
True story. True story. Yeah, absolutely.
God, we are so weird, but I'm okay with it though. So yeah, Dunn does the whole "we're the baddest men, try and prove us wrong," blah blah blah. We get it. You're British. You're bad.
Oh my god.
I don't.
He's so fucking droning.
Yeah. Then we get people that aren't droning and that I wish were doing other things. Frankie, Jesse Kamea, and the Robert Stone brand. Man, poor Robert's going to be unemployed so soon. You see him, man. His time's running out.
He might
think
be
Frankie's
a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely got you and me energy from Robert Stone here. No problems. I completely agree. You got it. Like, he's just trying to keep this together, keep himself together. He remembers those days after Chelsea left him. Oh, man.
Those were dark days.
I think the best line in this was how Frankie, like, sold herself saying the word losing. And she's like, oh, I hate that word. That's right, Frankie, you do. We hate it for you. And so, yeah, now we're getting to the point that we all knew we were getting to. It needs to be restructured in Frankie's image. Robert Stone's like, yeah, I agree with that. Do you agree, Jesse? And Jesse gives him this look like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're ruining this. You are literally ruining this for me. And they kind of walk off. God, I feel myself slowly turning up, and I'm happy because there's a segment we're getting to.
Too. I feel it in your
energy. There's one segment that I can't wait to get to because I'm going to turn all the way the fuck up, and I'm just warning everybody now so you have time to hide your kids and hide your wives. So next, we get the Roderick Strong Fish hype package. They would have gone better going the Sammy Corbin route. And then the Trey Baxter vignette. which was fine. Seems like a good dude. I mean, obviously, we've seen him on New Japan Strong. Really talented in the ring.
Yep.
We'll talk about his breakout tournament match a bit later.
Would you agree biggest upset of the tournament so far?
Definitely. We'll get more into that later.
Yeah.
Then we get Fish versus Strong. I literally do not give a fuck about this. Strong wins at the end of Heartache. Anything you want to add?
Bro. Z's.
Exactly. Then we get
honestly,
Cameron Grimes.
You have to be a special kind of boring to make a Roderick Strong match boring.
Yeah.
Because Roddy is legitimately one of the best to ever do it. And I just give so few fucks about Bobby Fish that I was like paying attention to anything else in this.
Yeah, sucks to suck, Robert. Then we get LA Knight and Grimes backstage. And yeah, it's more just this bullshit of like, Grimes being like, I'm a man of my word, so I have your back tonight. He said, are you going to have my back, Mr. Knight? And it's like, oh, I'm not going to make the $1 Million Championship look bad, so if you've got my back, I got your back. He tells Grimes, you're wrestling in that suit, so you're not going to be putting your usual gear on. And since you got my back, my boot needs a little shine there. So we go from that, thanks, I hate it, to Grimes and Knight in a tag match, and this is where I turn up, okay? Because it's against GYV. And guys, I realized something. One, James Drake is amazing. I think it was Foster that reminded us in the live wrestling discussion channel of the Discord. Again, check out our Patreon, see how you can get me involved in the Discord if you haven't already. That James Drake is 28. Great look, amazing talent, quality tag team wrestler. Like, he alone brings, I think, so much of that revival energy. Because there was even a point in the tag match where he kind of sacrificed himself. Yes. He was holding his ribs going back to his corner.
Where he throws himself up on the turnbuckle to take a shot.
And yeah, exactly. Yep. And then you get who I always leave my fucking shoes on for, Zach Gibson. Now, folks, your old pal John has a lot of issues. Okay, so this would normally be the point, that my breathing gets a little heavy. The tone just gets a little bit more rich in its texture. I maybe do a little as I think about the scalp.
You son of a bitch, fuck.
Because it's just so ripe.
Oh my god.
And it's so good.
Mike, fuck.
But God, you know what the best part of Zach Gibson is, and I just realized it tonight, because again, guys, I've really, it's been an interesting time for your pal John. What I love most about this beautiful, audacious, bald fuck is the tone. The tone. The way he says things to people. He called Cameron Grimes a shiny turd. You could polish it up as nice as you want. It's still just a turd. And he looks at them with disgust, the way that I look at a lot of things on this planet. And he's like, I don't know what weird role play stuff you guys are doing, but it's not going to stop the grizzled young veterans soon to be recognized as NXT Tag Team Champions. And when I'm hearing this man's tone, his utter disdain, just thinking to himself, God damn it, I'm technically skilled and I'm single-handedly bringing sexiness back to baldness. Why am I not a champion? And all I can think is I have never related harder to anyone in my life. I love grizzled young veterans. I really fucking do. And the sooner they beat MSK for the tag titles, the happier we'll all be at the end of the day. Match itself was fine. Cameron Grimes is a beast. He is amazing.
Dude, Cameron Grimes with that babyface fire is so great.
I'm telling you, like, if they really gave a shit and they didn't see him as anything more than a really, really good comedy wrestler, which is how I feel like NXT sees him, that's just my opinion, you could make this dude a top underdog babyface main eventer, and it really isn't even that hard. The babyface sympathy
and Alpha Academy, but what I would give for a really good tag team between Cameron Grimes and Chad Gable, my God.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, the babyface fire that he showed in this was fantastic. I loved it, but then he got caught in the Ticket to Ride, and they win because that's what winners fucking do. And as they're celebrating, oh God, see, I just find reasons to be offended. This boomer comes down the ramp, sullying GYV's victory. I agree with whoever said it in the Discord. I don't know if it was Javaris or if it was Foster. I doubt it was Foster because he's too pure-hearted for that shit. But somebody said that they wish GYV would have decked fucking DiBiase, you know? And I agree. I feel like laying him out with a ticket to ride while Cameron Grimes just watches and maybe kind of chases him off and checks on him would have been fucking hilarious. That doesn't happen. Instead, he goes over to Cameron. He's like, I told you, I know you got your word, but LA Knight, he's going to keep doing this. And wow, it was Foster. I underestimate him, and I respect it. And he's like, you got to find a way to get out of this. And they go to the back together. All in all, a fine segment, but man, I've been waiting all night to turn up about just, again, not even necessarily the scalp, although I got my shit in. That tone. I'm 100% in love with it. When have you ever heard me? I mean, let's confer with Ashton.
Never.
When have you ever
have I ever heard you say those exact words without a knot in the middle there?
Yeah, exactly. So Gibson has achieved literally the fucking impossible.
Yep.
All hail Zach Gibson. Keep your shoes on if you know what's good for you. So with that said, then we get a Samoa Joe hype package. Nice thing for him here, just to kind of really refamiliarize him with anybody that's been out of the NXT loop for a minute, or even just newcomers in general. And then we get to me.
I just scrolled back into the Discord and I saw Foster's line, GYV should have decked DiBiase. I just love
I can't believe it. I love that I assumed that it was Javaris, because I know him and I being rich, we wake up and choose violence. But then, like, Foster, I'm like, no, he's the best of us. And no, actually, no. But you know what, though? I'm here for it. I'm really here for it. Then we get to the best part of the show to me. Dakota fucking Kai's promo. Bro, talk about this first, since I monopolized so much time talking about fucking scalps and GYV. So what did you like about this promo?
You know what? No,
here?
I want you to have this. Why? Because you were the one that said this was your favorite segment of the night, and I didn't say that. I think my favorite segment of the night happens much later on, so I want you to talk.
Fair enough. I appreciate it, man. I love the conviction that Kai spoke with here. Like, at no point to me did she sound insecure or like she was doubting herself or like she was projecting in a word, right? I mean, very clearly you could probably say she was if you look deep enough, all that stuff. But I think everything she said, she believes it. Like, she sees herself as the victim here. Like, I brought you in. I was your friend. I gave you the spotlight. And you didn't help me become NXT Women's Champion, which was originally your job. You were the Diesel to my Michaels. Now, she didn't say that, but that's pretty much like the parallel evoked here, right? And you just kind of went into business for yourself. And, man, I don't know if she would have been as convincing live, which is why sometimes I really do appreciate the pre-tapes. Because, man, this was the perfect setting for it. Because the images they spliced it with, them together, and the solidarity and everything else. And where I mourn, and I know that's a really strong word, probably hyperbolic. So where I'm hesitant or tentative, just to kind of scale it back a bit, about really being invested in this program, they've already advertised that Raquel is going to break her silence next week. She's not going to be able to match this. There's no fucking way. Like, Dakota Kai walked us through the whole history. 18 months ago, I brought you in. You stopped everybody that came into my path. And then EO chose you, going all the way to stand and deliver. So she gives this whole narrative history, and she talks about how, you wouldn't have been champion if it wasn't for me. And I love that they actually show the clip to substantiate Dakota's point that, like, she actually did get involved in that match early on. Now, was that involvement enough for EO to be, just thwarted by fucking Gonzalez? Probably not realistically, because EO was such a dominant champion before that. But the point is, I like that they give the footage to at least create an illusion of Kai's point being correct. Yep. So yeah, she gives this whole narrative account, spliced with images and footage that sometimes substantiates her claims, other times just substantiates the relationship. And Gonzalez is going to have to respond to all that next week. And I'm telling you, she can't do it. And normally I'm not that guy that just says, like, who can and can't do something. I like to keep an open mind. But I think we've seen enough to know. I mean, for God's sake, she calls herself Big Mommy Cool. Jesus Christ. Like, if you're coming in that cringe, like, there's no way. I don't know. Maybe Raquel will surprise me, and she'll dig down into emotional depths, and she'll think about her friendship with Kai, and she'll speak from that place. But Kai is going to be carrying this feud to me on every level, and I really just fucking wish that she would become NXT Women's Champion. You know that that's the horse that I'm backing. And if it doesn't happen, yeah, I'm wrong. Big whoop. That's kind of par for the course. But I think in this case, NXT would be wrong. I really like. She's so fucking good. I just want to see her get the nod one fucking time. This was amazing. Do you have anything you want to add about this? Your feelings about this whole promo?
Oh yeah. Three things. First of all, being a Dakota Kai fan is still pain because I just know she's gonna lose, and I'll let you figure that out on your own time. Second of all, I love this promo. This is probably the best promo that she has ever cut in her career. Definitely better than any of the promos she cut during the Shayna feud. And I just wish the best for her. Third thing, though, bringing the mood back down. Bad news. I hate it because she's very clearly the heel here, which means that Raquel's response next week is going to be something along the lines of, "I thought you were my friend. I thought you were happy for me. I thought you were more supportive than this."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And to me, I'm sorry, like I'm Team Kick all the way here. Hell, even fucking Tegan on Twitter, she still has Dakota's back. And in character, Dakota has been shittier to her than anyone. I don't even think Raquel has done anything to Tegan. And even Tegan's like, well, Raquel sort of had it coming. Like, Jesus Christ. When somebody, granted, she has a lot of history with Dakota, but that history went sour real quick. When somebody gets the shit beat out of them by the person they're supporting because you're that bad, damn, son. Damn, son. I don't even know what to say to that. And Paul does make a good point, though, to be fair to Paul. If Raquel really wanted to bury the feud, all she'd have to say is, I actually win my feuds. And, yeah. But, hey, TakeOver 36. We'll see how the match goes. We'll see how Raquel's response goes next week. But, man, I fucking loved Kai's promo. It was great. Then we get Johnny and Candice backstage. More or less it was, we know what's best for Indy tonight. I'm going to beat Loomis, and then Index is over. So they're really playing that up. Then we get the Joe Gacy spotlight, talking about, where he's come from, his grind in the business. Then we get a Cole and Kyle O'Reilly recap. Very disgusted that Kyle O'Reilly is still walking a free man after that heinous assault. But Cole seems to be all right, though. He's playing Halo and doing content for, I guess, left, right. I don't even know anymore. So, yeah, keep healing, Cole.
I'm
Because
imagining
you're always in our
it's
hearts.
probably still just up, down, down, considering, like, Breeze was the official host of Left, Right, and he's gone.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, it's still so depressing to hear.
Yeah.
And then him and Kyle are supposed to do a face-to-face, which Foster, of course, can go one fucking episode. How's it going to be a face-to-face? Is Cole going to have a ladder? And then you all laughed, because that was apparently like joke of the year, and you can't even stop yourself now. Are you proud of yourself?
Why would I be proud of myself? I'm proud of Foster. Are you kidding me?
You're all encouraging toxic behaviors, and it's disgusting. This man deserves some respect.
I respect that of Cole. I do. I genuinely do. I just think it's hilarious when Foster makes fun of him.
God damn it. All right, well, regardless, I'm not laughing. You know who I'll be laughing at? Fucking Kyle, when he gets another last shot in the back of the head. But we gotta wait. And there is actually a lot of talk about it on Cole, but this is not the time or the place for it. We might discuss it more in preview predictions if more comes to light about that.
Yeah.
In the meantime.
It's in like 2 weeks, though. 2.5 weeks.
Yep. Trey Baxter versus Joe Gacy.
It exists.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about this match for me, just so I can kind of get my cards on the table a bit early. I didn't hate it. I don't want to make people think like, oh God, did John hate this? No, not at all. I didn't hate this at all. I think what surprised me was that, like, Duke Hudson seems to be the only big person left, and I wonder if that's because they wanted him to stand out because he's going to win. Because Briggs lost his match.
To be fair, we also haven't gotten Odyssey Jones yet.
Oh, and Odyssey Jones already won his match. That is fair. So there are two big... Okay, actually thinking about that, maybe that makes me less tentative about this, because I was just surprised that Gacy lost.
I forget.
Like, I thought
did
Gacy
Odyssey Jones already win an actual tournament match? Because I know he had to win a qualifying match.
Yeah, he did win a tournament match because this is the last match of the first round.
Oh, that's right, because he wore the Mark Henry gear for the tournament match. That's right. Who did he beat again? I forget.
I forget as well, if I'm
honest.
honest.
I think he beat Harlem Bravado. That's right. I forgot the guy. Andre Chase. That's what it was. Andre Chase.
Yeah.
Man, look at these things just coming to me. It's unbelievable. This is so odd for me to be the one thinking the things.
I'm proud of you. Remember this.
Thanks.
So yeah, I guess thinking about that, and I'm gonna ease up on this match because I was just surprised that Gacy lost. I really thought he was a shoe-in to win here. I didn't think Trey Baxter was going to advance. Although the joke's on me there because unlike Joe Gacy, who this was his first match in NXT, his qualifier was on 205 Live.
Yes.
Baxter's actually been on NXT and he challenged Kushida. So I honestly should have known that they were going to defer to Baxter. That's 100% on me. And I'll be honest, his finisher's fucking dope. It's like a 450 double stomp.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm cool with that. Did you have any notes that you wanted to share about this match? Was there any observations from your end?
No, this match I think was the worst of the first round matches because I think this is the last one, right? We're done through
Yes.
the first round. Yeah, I think this was the worst first round match of the breakout tournament so far, which is really sad because I really like Trey Baxter and his finisher was dope as hell. I just feel like there was just nothing really that had grips. Like nothing really sunk its teeth into me with this match that really got me into it. It was just kind of there. Odyssey Jones, I feel was very memorable. I think Duke Hudson versus Ika Manjiro was probably the best match in the first round. That was very memorable. I feel like both of those guys got over through that match, even if Duke did win. And then Briggs. I don't even. Briggs versus Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
I feel like both those guys looked great in that match too. So I feel like this was just the worst of the four first round matches. Honestly, I was a little disappointed in it too because I do like. Fuck, I forget. Is it Trey Baxter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta remember that. I just remember him as Blake Christian. So, but yeah, I like him. Very interested to see how the bracket lines up. Do we actually have an official bracket yet?
We should, I feel like.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. I found it. So we're gonna get Carmelo Hayes versus. Okay, so it's big man versus little man for both of the semifinal matches. Carmelo Hayes versus Duke Hudson and Odyssey Jones versus Trey Baxter. I dig that though. I think Trey Baxter and Duke Hudson win. I think Duke Hudson's winning this tournament, man.
Yeah, dude, I was even going to say, and this will be my final note on this, because now we're kind of picking up speed in this review, that if Duke Hudson outlasts Odyssey Jones in this tournament, he's winning the whole fucking thing.
Yes.
I fully believe that. I think they're going to really strap a rocket to him.
I don't think they strap that rocket to Trey Baxter. I like Trey Baxter, like I said, but I don't think he's the dude they're trying to push to the moon with this.
And I think Carmelo Hayes will be a big star, but this isn't going to be his launching pad.
Carmelo Hayes is going to be the
scrapper.
Cameron Grimes of this tournament.
Exactly.
Like Grimes, I think Grimes literally lost in the first round of his tournament, actually. So that's even giving.
Wait, didn't Grimes make it all the way to the finals though? Against I thought Grimes made it to the finals.
Who am I thinking of? Who lost in the first? Was it? Wait. Oh, wait. It was Swerve actually. I think it was Swerve versus Grimes happened in the first round, and Grimes won, so Swerve got eliminated in the first round, right?
Yeah, that's how I remember it.
Okay, so I'm thinking of Swerve. So Carmelo Hayes is going to be the Swerve of this tournament, then. I'll put it that way. I mean, hell, it's funny. We've already kind of associated him, like, speculating if maybe he'd join Hit Row because he fits the aesthetic so perfectly.
Yeah, as long as he can rap, because remember, everybody in that group has an authentic music background.
True.
So Carmelo, yeah, better have those bars.
You can't just
son.
look the part. You got to be the part, baby.
Yeah, he better be, because on some real shit, like, I like your idea, but honestly, like, that's what makes the group work so well is the authenticity, and nobody's going to ruin that shit. I will fight people.
Yeah.
Speaking of fighting people, obviously we get to the EO Zoe Japanese restaurant. I already talked about this extensively in the opening segment. We don't need to talk about this anymore.
Let's move on.
Fuck everything about this. And we love you, Kyrie. We miss you so much. And props to Ashton for sending me EO's Instagram video, because he showed me Kyrie's comment, but I actually saw the original thing, I think, on Twitter. And she said, "I miss Kyrie." And my heart just burst. How dare you, Zoe, bring her name up? I'll fight you. All right,
How
now,
dare you invoke her name?
I will travel to the future and fight your fucking children. You ever pull that shit again? So, clearly, I am in a mood. I need to simmer down.
No,
but
you
after this,
don't, sir. You need to boil up. Let's do this.
we get the Indy Hartwell interview. And she more or less has the dilemma, you know. On one hand, it's family, like Johnny's practically my dad. Weird. But, you know, Loomis, I love him. So, you know, what's going to happen? So then Karrion Kross, they're talking about something at the commentary table. Kross interrupts. God, I don't know if I've ever hated a face more. I'm sure I
Wait,
have.
is he a
I'm
face?
sure I have. Well, I'm just saying his face. No, he's not a face at all.
Oh, you know what? In that case, then agreed.
Yeah, like that's why I'm saying. I'm sure I've hated other faces, literally speaking, more than his in history. But man, I see it, and I'm just like, I'm not going to say what I actually think. I'm going to try and keep this channel somewhat decent.
I literally read your mind in that moment, and I was actually kind of in agreement.
Wow. All right. Not quite so sure about that, but yeah, if you say so, I'm happy about that. Kross.
I'm gonna type a Facebook message to you what I think you were gonna say.
I guarantee you it's not gonna be correct, but maybe it'll have the same sentiment. Similar sentiment. Not exactly what I was thinking. Let me just you know what? Fuck it. I'll say it. Fuck it. I've already said enough on the show. I wanted him to be the Billy Russo to fucking Joe's Punisher at the very end. You're gonna know pain. Oh, you're gonna know loss. Oh, right with that face. Literally mar the fucking face. I said it, and I feel better having said it. Fuck you, Kross, and fuck your QAnon conspiracy. So, Jesus, I really need to get help. But more importantly,
doesn't it
Kross
feel
is going to
good
need
to
help.
get it off your chest, though, man?
Because, dude, honestly, and this is just really where I'm a sicko. That was one of the funniest scenes in the first season. Just like him repeatedly, and I'm thinking sometimes scenes can be funnier when you replace them with people you hate, and just replacing it with Kross, it's comedy of the year. It's comedy of the fucking year. So Kross more or less does his snarling. I question, Joe. Who provoked who? And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. And then Joe, because granted, Joe raises his voice too.
Has there ever been a worse NXT champion? And follow-up question, has there ever been an easier to dunk on NXT champion?
No. Yeah. No. It's really, really amazing. And yeah,
it's honestly
Joe.
astounding.
Now look, yeah, it is. Joe, and we'll keep it consistent. We know Joe gets a bit yelly in his promos, sure.
Yeah.
But at least with Joe, and I'll always give this man credit, he has zingers even when he like greatest zinger of all time. I don't care if people were uncomfortable by it or not. I fucking thought it was a verbal knockout. Hey Jeff, why don't you treat this like an AA meeting and shut your mouth while I'm sharing with the group? Kross could never. Because you have to have charisma to have.
Oh God, no! Never in his life.
Like, I don't care if this dude's jelly or not.
With Kross, it would just be, Jeff, shut up. Like, he wouldn't put any flavor on it at all. But he's a stereotypical white guy. He doesn't know how to season anything.
Like, Joe's the type of guy that he could look at me and, like, say he read up on me. And he's like, hey, listen, I know your politics, so I want to assure you this ass beating is 100% accessible. I'm so, wait a minute. I am literally willing to sell out everyone and everything so you don't beat my ass right now. Like, that's how intimidating he is. Whereas if Kross was like, got a problem, pal? And I'm just like, all right, bet. And I'm the guy that literally an ant could kick my ass. And I would still, like, be like, nah, seems like you're really insecure, bruh. That sounds like a you problem. But Joe, who just mauls the security.
Bro, do you know who Karrion Kross reminds me of?
Yeah, who's that?
Just from a demeanor standpoint, nothing appearance-wise whatsoever. Fucking Taserface from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh my God.
It's the exact same try-hard energy. He's like, because it's intimidating. It's like, no, it isn't. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he just destroyed the security because wrestling security never actually secures anything.
Because Regal never went and got better security until Joe showed up and then he left.
And then the scariest moment of my life, especially for like any of you Boy Meets World fans, because it was so much better than its successor. Yeah. I don't know if you ever remember the one where Sean's trying to figure his life out. Yeah. And so he goes to college. There were a few of those episodes, but it was the one where he actually tries college because he feels like he doesn't fit into high school. He goes to a philosophy class, so you already know I have an affinity for this episode.
Oh, and he actually fits in better there than he does in high school.
At least at the start, yes.
Right.
Of course, obviously at the end, Feeney's wisdom, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, Corey at one point in the middle of the episode, he goes in. The philosophy teacher calls on Corey. And Corey's immediate reaction was, and I quote, "Oh my God, I've been hit." And I swear to you, my soul had the same reaction when Joe got a coquina clutch on one of the security guards and he looked directly at the camera that's facing me. Yes, Mark, exactly. Plus 10 for you. And in fact, honestly, I'm willing to sign that peace treaty if you are. And I'm just thinking when Joe locks eyes with me and I lock eyes with him because I'm too nervous now to break the gaze. It's done with. It's over. We're both committed, right? And I'm just thinking like, oh my God, I've been hit. Everything I've ever done in my life was leading up to this moment, and it's over now because Joe knows I exist, and I will never sleep as soundly as I used to again. And you know what? Karrion Kross, in the words of the brain, talking about Hulk Hogan, you can't do that. So, that was that segment. Let's see. Oh, we got the prime target, Dragunov Walter. We already talked enough about this match opening segment. We don't need to talk about it. Kushida promo, really simple, more or less says to Roddy, hey, accept your challenge. Assuming, again, it's going to be TakeOver. Cool.
I will enjoy that match infinitely more times than Walter Dragunov.
There is nothing I enjoy with more infinite pleasure than the existence of your face.
Oh, wow.
Just going to put that out there.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely you do, and abso-fucking-lutely I meant it. I'll come left field, right field, every side of the field to make that point. So, yeah, Foster, same fucking energy. Same fucking energy, yeah. Absolutely. Joe's horrifying. And again, best t-shirt WWE's ever produced for him. But then we get Gargano versus Lumis. Again, already talked about this extensively in our opening segment. So now let us get to high spots and low shots.
Yeah.
So, my low shot, because Javaris is fucking clamoring for it, Karrion Kross. Because you talked all that shit about who provoked who, and you got on the announce table making a goddamn fool of yourself. And then the moment Joe actually shows up, and granted, he mauls security, but I mean, to be fair, and in Joe's defense, because I value my own life, they shouldn't have been in the way. Sometimes things are more important than a job, like not inconveniencing a fucking beast. And yeah, you had your chance to make your point, because the only time you got an offense on him was behind his back, and you kind of ran away. So he talked. He annoyed me while he talked. He looks hideous bald. He is a hideous human being. I hate him. Kill it with fire 10 times over. And yeah, he had a chance to square up with Joe, kind of flex a little bit, maybe show people, hey, it ain't going to be that easy. And now you've made it look like, well, maybe Joe will have the night off because there's practically no fucking difference. So Karrion Kross is absolutely my low shot. Hope that scratched your itch there, Javaris. Who's your low shot, bud?
No, I loved your low shot because Kross literally just running away. Like, what's the saying? There's, everyone thinks they're a tough guy until a tough guy shows up in the room. A real tough guy shows up. Like, Kross goes over and tries intimidating the announcers. Dude, I would have loved it if Barrett would have just stood up rather than running away. If Barrett would have been the one dude that didn't back down and he just stood there and watched Kross make a fool of himself, that would have been so cool to me. It would have almost kind of reminded me of like when Mace, a.k.a. Brennan Williams, a.k.a. Dio Madden, stood up to Brock Lesnar when Brock went after Jerry Lawler. Like, that was a cool moment, too. But of course, we can't have Kross looking even remotely weak in any way, so that couldn't happen tonight. But my low shot tonight is going to be Zoe Stark, because you just had an awful segment that made you look worse, made Io dislike you more, and cost you extra money because you had to pay for two people.
Yeah, honestly, that was perfect. That was fucking perfect. Thank you, sir. So my high spot, given that there were some rough parts of this show, you know what? Honestly, my high spot's Ridge Holland, because he's my favorite part of this new group, and he fucking dominated. And not only did he dominate, and I've actually really been impressed by WWE's ability to do this lately. People coming back from injury and keeping their heel heat. because he got genuine heat, and I feel like it was ingenious booking to have him go against Jiro and have the jacket be kind of a focal point of the match, just in the sense of like, this is what's going to revolve around me getting the heat. Because as Foster mentioned way earlier in the chat, when he took the jacket off and he kind of threw it and he kind of disparaged it, the crowd really started booing him heavy. Yeah. So I feel like he had the perfect opponent. He played it well. He looked intense. He looked good. So yeah, Ridge Holland. Because see, here's the thing. I didn't want to give it to anybody in the main event because people I'd like to give it to, they more or less lost in an in-ring sense.
Indian Dexter, right, of course.
Yeah. So, like, Holland makes sense because he actually won his match. We know that he's impressive. And, yeah, I really can't wait to see what's next for him. So, who's your high spot?
You know what? My high spot is going to be Indy Hartwell because she didn't lose a match, but what she did win back was her own fucking autonomy.
There you go. Look at you, bud. I really like your picks this week. Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
And her man, but that's that's less important than the autonomy part.
You know, Bethany Firebird is just fucking thrilled right now.
Oh, she was losing. She was marking the fuck out during that makeout session.
Honey, it happened. Index got together. Yeah, great. I'm prepping for Seth Rollins. Gonna spear him over and over again. God, I'm actually excited to talk about Seth on Friday. What the fuck is happening to me? But
yeah, dude, I was even just about to mention something SmackDown related. I was gonna say something about like, oh, you like how Ridge Holland got to return with his heel heat. Maybe someone on NXT should teach someone on SmackDown how to do that with people like Sasha Banks.
Yo, shit, Ashton going in. But yeah, man. Good shit, I guess. We were the best part of NXT. I thought we did great.
Maybe in the meantime, someone from SmackDown can teach someone from NXT how to have good taste in world champions.
Oh, God, dude. I'm sorry, but since you've already taken us here, I'm going to take a little drive since you've already taken us down this beautiful scenic path. I would love for Roman Reigns just to emasculate Karrion Kross.
Oh,
either on the mic or putting him in that guillotine. I don't really give a fuck.
Bro, just dressing him down the way Adam did. Oh my God.
And then though it's and I love Adam and you know that, but it's even better coming from Roman because nobody's gonna joke about Roman to kind of balance the scales because like it's fucking Roman. So like you just respect it. You dare I say acknowledge it, and that's it. Yeah, that sound right there. That sound right there. Just replay that. And that's the whole fucking mood. So, yeah, this has been NXT, which was subpar tonight, and this has been TWitWoW, which, dare I say about our own faces, was fucking exceptional, including all of you. The best wrestling podcast on the web today, made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, of course. So, guys, as you file out, be sure to leave that like. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you never get miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. You already know. Going to plug the Patreon. 2 main things. Additional Q&A questions. Q&A will be August 26th this month because that's the last Thursday in August. If you don't donate to the Patreon, you only get 3 Q&A questions. But if you donate $1, you get 2 additional questions for a total of 5. Additionally, you could donate $3 and get your extra Q&A questions as well as access to the TWitWoW Discord. It is an amazing group. And you know what? I can actually say that more authoritatively this time around because Ashton can attest I've been spending a lot more time in there. And I was part of the live wrestling discussion channel tonight for NXT. It is a great group of people, very intimate. We all get to talk about the wrestling that we enjoy. We have AEW fans in there. Thank you. I was wondering what you said then. I'm like, okay.
I was waiting for a moment, and I feel like I just wasn't going to get one because when you get on a roll, there's no stopping you. So I just snuck it in there when I could.
I appreciate it, man. I know I Shelton Benjamin this bitch because there ain't no stopping me now. But, yeah. We have AEW fans, we have New Japan fans, we have fans of all stripes, and especially, when the wrestling's on, live wrestling discussion channel, we see people break down Dynamite, and the wrestling discussion channel, we'll see people probably talking about PWG because they're back and things are happening there. Just, discuss practically everything in the Discord. I think we even still have, like a not suitable for work channel. So, yeah, literally anything as long as, you're tasteful and respectful of everybody. $3, and we do Among Us Mondays, which have really been popping the last couple weeks. I don't think our Among Us Mondays have been better than what they have been the last, I'd say 3 weeks so far. So, yeah, get into that, guys, if you haven't. It's a great time. And beyond that, follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. Easiest places to submit Q&A are my pinned tweet and, again, the Discord, because there is a channel dedicated to Q&A. And then you want to follow Ashton on Twitter. He's at Ashton_TwitWoW. He always has the TwitWoW schedule for the month. Now, we don't have the formal August schedule up yet because August literally just started. But I will tell you the most immediate commentary we're hoping to do. We're hoping that Stardom has the first show of the 5-star up tomorrow on their website. And if they do, we'll be covering that at 5. If they don't, though, Ashton, do we have any other recordings besides obviously SmackDown on Friday, or are we just waiting to cover Stardom again?
Well, we should be able to do Stardom on Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay, Wednesday and Thursday. That's why I'm thinking, man. I agree with you that I think we should be able to do it. So you guys can see us Wednesday and Thursday both at 5, right?
Yes.
Both at 5. And I'm just going to do that because what I'm going to start doing, guys, just to get us out of here a little bit quicker, I'm not going to go through the whole week. I'm just going to go through the most immediate thing. So the next most immediate thing really is the 5-star. Hopefully tomorrow at 5 and Thursday at 5 as well for the first 2 days.
Oh my
more
God, tomorrow's Wednesday already. What the fuck happened to the week?
Dude, you know what I'm going to say about time. I don't even need to say it. So yeah, most immediately. Well, then it's a social construct, so practically the same thing.
Yeah,
so
I was going to also say that it's a flat circle, but anyway, continue, please.
But yes, most immediately, guys, if you're a Stardom fan, and honestly, to be a snob, you absolutely should be, subscribe to Stardom World. We will see you tomorrow at 5. I cannot fucking wait to start covering this tournament. I will be candid and say that I have been looking forward to this infinitely more than I'm looking forward to the G1 that's going to be happening in just a few months later. Yeah, Stardom is just where it's at right now for me. These women are amazing. Come out and support them. It would mean the world to us and to them for sure. So yeah, hopefully they get it all up for tomorrow and Thursday. That's what you can be on the lookout for. And if by any chance they don't, then most immediately after that would be SmackDown at 10 p.m. on Fridays because, you know, our SmackDown review. So with that said, guys, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Until we see each other again, tune in and peace out.